Did you know that Jeff Bezos makes $133,181 per minute? Ask any American about their feelings towards the mega rich, and the replies you get can be puzzling, even downright baffling. Words like greedy, corrupt, callous, and ruthless are frequently used to describe individuals with wealth and power. Despite its famed reputation as the mecca of big bucks entrepreneurs, America has always had a precarious relationship with the rich and wealthy. Welcome to Trend Fluent. We're bringing you the latest, weirdest, and quite frankly, the best videos on YouTube. Before we proceed, be sure to gently hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you never miss our future uploads. Americans' disposition towards money and wealth is a complex bundle of contradictions. It is considered normal to resent the rich, but we secretly desire to be rich. No one would publicly admit, but we'd hum along to Travie McCoy's hit song Billionaire because we all want to be billionaires so freaking bad. Bill Gates got there first, and we watched with awe and a bit of dismay as his fortune crossed the $100 billion mark in April 1999. He inspired a generation of Uber nerds we used to beat up in the schoolyard to launch their billion-dollar startups, and in the end, we were all too happy just to work for them. We weren't mad because they made all that money during a period of sustained economic prosperity, an era when we celebrated wealth and thought the stock market was going to make us all rich forever. In April 1999, there were no protests outside Mr. Gates' $60 million mansion in Seattle. When Bill Gates became America's $100 billion man, no one brought guillotines to his doorsteps. Times, as they say, have changed. A $200 billion fortune is made. On Wednesday, 26 August 2020, a historical milestone in wealth accumulation was crossed when Amazon.com stock rose by 2%, adding an extra $4.9 billion to its CEO Jeff Bezos' net worth, making him the first person in modern-day history to acquire a $200 billion fortune. And while that shortly after plummeted to its current level of $183 billion, it means that so far this year, Jeff Bezos makes a mind-blowing sum of $133,181 every minute. What would you do with that much money? Let us know in the comments. The coronavirus pandemic was the source of his extraordinary good fortune, as millions of stuck-at-home individuals resorted to contactless online shopping. Amazon stock has skyrocketed almost 80% since the start of 2020. While 90% of Bezos' wealth is locked in Amazon stock, his personal fortune has grown in tandem with Amazon share prices, and Bezos has seen his net worth grow from around $115 billion in January to over $200 billion in August. Other world's richest folks have been sitting pretty too. Their wealth has quadrupled this year in spite of the global recession caused by the coronavirus pandemic. The Centi Billionaire Club, 5 individuals worth more than $100 billion, have seen their fortunes increase by $809 billion, with Bezos being the biggest beneficiary with a net increase of $76.5 billion since the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020. What makes Jeff Bezos' achievement so remarkable is the margin between his net worth and other Centi billionaires. He is $88 billion richer than Bill Gates, the world's second richest man. Let's take a look at the figures. Jeff Bezos' net worth in January was $115 billion, and his wealth has increased by an average of $277 million each day, adding $87.1 billion to his net worth. In comparison, Elon Musk, whose $24.6 billion pre-pandemic fortune increased to $101 billion as Tesla's stock surged, making him the world's 4th richest person. Essentially, Jeff Bezos' net worth increase in just 8 months this year is the equivalent to the fortune Elon Musk managed to acquire in 50 years. Mackenzie Scott. What are your opinions when your marriage ends? Do you cry yourself to sleep each night? Or do you sink into the depths of emotional confusion that seem to go on forever? Some women skip town avoiding the painful connections that might remind them of their bitter past. Others reward themselves with a fabulous vacation and maybe even take on a new lover. Mackenzie Bezos earned herself a tidy 4% stake of Amazon instead, 25% of her husband's Amazon stake, and around $19.7 million in shares. It's a lump of stock that is currently worth a cool $63 billion, making her the world's 14th richest person and second richest woman behind L'Oreal heiress Francois Bettencourt Myers. When the news of their divorce broke, the world waited for her next move, knowing the divorce had potential implications for Amazon. The couple lives in Washington state, where Mackenzie Bezos is entitled to half of her husband Jeff Bezos' assets. Splitting up Jeff Bezos' Amazon shares among other requirements would reduce his control of Amazon and change its public persona. Also, Amazon shares and the public image would be hurt if the Bezoses went through a nasty and vicious divorce. Mackenzie Bezos has had a literal driver's seat position from the very beginnings of Amazon. She was at the wheel when Jeff Bezos was writing Amazon's business plan during their cross-country drive to Seattle. In a Wired magazine interview, she revealed how she negotiated Amazon's early freight contracts. "I was there when he wrote the business plan, and I worked with him and many others, in the converted garage, the basement warehouse closet, the barbecue-scented offices, the Christmas rush distribution centers, in the early years of Amazon's history," Mackenzie Bezos wrote in a review of Brad Stone's 2013 book on Amazon, The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon. But what happens when you make a fortune during the same time the entire world is in a lockdown and millions are losing jobs? In recent times, mocking the much vilified 1% has become a popular national pastime. The coronavirus pandemic has only fueled the distrust people have for a broken system which allows the rich to take advantage of public services that ought to be working for everyone. It's amazing how America's wealthy have managed to profit from the pandemic. In April, America's billionaires added $308 billion to its wealth in just 4 weeks, as 26 million people lost their jobs. The richest companies have mostly benefited from the $349 billion federal bailout funds meant to save desperately struggling small businesses from collapsing. For all its faults, Amazon has led the way in a responsible corporate response to the coronavirus pandemic. "The service we provide has never been more critical," Jeff Bezos said, warning shareholders about the impending decline in first-quarter profits as a result of pandemic-related expenses. Amazon reported $75.5 billion in revenue in the first quarter, but there would be no profits. It was a deliberate strategy. If you're a share owner in Amazon, you may want to take a seat, because we're not thinking small. Under normal circumstances, in this second coming quarter, we'd expect to make some $4 billion or more in operating profit. But these aren't normal circumstances. Instead, we expect to spend the entirety of that $4 billion, and perhaps a bit more, on COVID-related expenses getting products to customers and keeping employees safe. In 1994, Jeff Bezos saw the future. He just didn't know exactly what it was. Nevertheless, he went to work and spent 2.5 decades building a formidable logistics infrastructure with a network capable of delivering anything to anyone, anywhere. That future arrived in 2020, and the mission was delivering goods to a world in quarantine. Thank you for watching TrendFluent. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated with the latest trends, please subscribe and share this video with your friends.